Good afternoon, football fans. Big Al here on this Wednesday, October the 5th, 2022. And this is a look at the week 6 schedule in college football and the announcer teams, I should say, for every game. Now, this information is courtesy of 506sports.com. Be sure to check those guys out. We want to find out where these games are playing, who's calling the games, what network they're on, and all that good stuff. I'm not sponsored by 506sports.com, but I figured I'd give them a plug. Anyway, here is the week 6 schedule for the 2022 college football season and the broadcast teams for each game. And there's actually a game that's starting in less than an hour from now at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific on ESPN2. SMU travels to UCF. That game will be called by Tiffany Green and Renee Ingogila. Then Thursday's a day off, and then you have 4 games on Friday. At 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on FS1 is Nebraska at Rutgers. Adam Alexander and Devin Gardner. At 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN2 is Houston at Memphis. Roy Philpott, Andre Ware, and Paul Carcaterra. And then the final 2 games on Friday both kick off at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. On FS1 is Colorado State at Nevada. Alex Faust and Petros Papadakis. And on CBS Sports Network is UNLV at San Jose State, Dave Ryan and Dante Whitner. And that brings us to the Saturday portion of the schedule. Now, ESPN's only airing 2 games this week because they have the wild card baseball playoffs. Same with ESPN2. They're both airing 2 MLB wildcard games. So ESPN's only airing 2 games and ESPN2 is only airing 1. So on to the Saturday schedule. We'll start off with the early afternoon games. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games getting underway at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Sorry. On ABC, you've got the Red River Rivalry. Texas and Oklahoma. This is being played in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. This game will be called by Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy. On Fox's Big Noon Saturday is number 4 Michigan at Indiana. Gus Johnson and Joe Klatt. On ESPN is number 8 Tennessee at number 25 LSU. Bob Wischusen and Dan Orlovsky. On FS1 is number 17 TCU at number 19 Kansas, Jason Benetti and Brock Huard. On ESPNU, you've got Missouri at Florida, John Schifrin and Dustin Fox. On the SEC network is Arkansas at number 23 Mississippi State, Dave Neal and Deuce McAllister. On BTN, Purdue at Maryland, Lisa Byington and Anthony Herring. On the ACC network, Louisville at Virginia, Chris Cotter and Mark Herzlich. On CBS Sports Network, you've got Eastern Michigan at Western Michigan. That's the Eagles and the Cowboys, or Eagles and the Broncos, rather. Alex Del Barrio and Ross Tucker. And on ESPN Plus at 12 noon Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific is Buffalo at Bowling Green, Dan Gutkowski and Ryan Kavanaugh. Then you have 2 games kicking off at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Both of them are on ESPN3. Akron at Ohio will be called by Anthony Lima and Bob Gennarelli. And then Georgia Southern at Georgia State has no broadcast team announced. And then rounding out the early afternoon slate at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, streaming on ESPN Plus, is South Florida at number 24, Cincinnati. Richard Cross and Taylor McHargy. All right, now we're into the late afternoon portion of the schedule. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games getting underway at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. On CBS, the Home Depot SEC on CBS, it's game one of their doubleheader. Auburn at number 2, Georgia. Tom McCarthy and Rick Neuheisel. On Fox is number 11, Utah at number 18, UCLA. Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman. On FS1 is Texas Tech at number 7, Oklahoma State, Eric Collins and Devin Gardner. Sorry again. On ESPNU is East Carolina at Tulane, Anish Shroff and Brock Osweiler. On BTN is Wisconsin at Northwestern, Mark Followell and Brock Vereen. On ACC Network, Virginia Tech at Pittsburgh, Wes Durham and Roddy Jones. On CBS Sports Network is Tulsa at Navy, John Sadak and Randy Cross. On over-the-air Multicast Network Stadium at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific is Middle Tennessee at UAB, Chris Hassel and Sed Bonner. And then you have 4 games streaming on ESPN Plus at 12:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Liberty at Massachusetts has no broadcast team announced. The other 3 do have broadcast teams. Ball State at Central Michigan is Jim Barber and Adam Brenneman. Kent State at Miami of Ohio is Michael Reggie and Marcus Ray. And Toledo at Northern Illinois is Doug Sherman and Forrest Connolly. Then you've got 5 games getting underway at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. On ABC, you've got number 3 Ohio State at Michigan State, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. On ESPN2 is North Carolina at Miami, Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, and Tom Luginbill. On the SEC Network is number 9 Ole Miss at Vanderbilt, Drew Carter and Matt Stinchcomb. On the Pac-12 Network, number 21 Washington at Arizona State, J.B. Long and Lincoln Kennedy. On ACC Regional Sports Networks at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific is Duke at Georgia Tech, Tom Wormay and James Bates. And then there's only one other game in the late afternoon window at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and this is streaming on ESPN Plus. Western Kentucky at Texas San Antonio, Lincoln Rose and LaDarren McClain. Now we're in the evening portion of the schedule. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games getting underway at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another 7 at 7:30 Eastern and 4:30 Pacific. Let's get to the 7 p.m. games first. On FS1 is Air Force at Utah State, Guy Haberman and Charles Arbuckle. On CBS Sports Network is Wyoming at New Mexico with Chris Lewis and Tom Herman. On NFL Network, James Madison at Arkansas State, no broadcast team name for that game. Then you've got Southern Miss at Troy, Appalachian State at Texas State, and UTEP at Louisiana Tech. All 3 of those games are streaming on ESPN Plus, and there are no broadcast teams named for those games. And in the last 7 p.m. game, is on ESPN3. That's Connecticut at Florida International. AJ Ricketts and Corey Brooks. Then at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC's Saturday Night Football, number 5 Clemson at Boston College, Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge. On Fox is Washington State at number 6 USC, Noah Eagle and Mark Helfrich. On NBC is number 16 BYU and Notre Dame. This game is being played in Las Vegas, I'm assuming at Allegiant Stadium. This game will be called by Jack Collinsworth, which is, of course, Chris Collinsworth's son, and Jason Garrett. On ESPNU is number 20 Kansas State at Iowa State, Clay Matvick and Rocky Boyman. On the SEC Network, South Carolina at number 13 Kentucky, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelic. On BTN is Iowa at Illinois, Corey Provis and Jake Butt. And on ACC Regional Sports Networks at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific is Army at number 15 Wake Forest, Evan Lepler and Brian Jordan. Now we're getting towards the end of the day on Saturday. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the Home Depot SEC on CBS. This is game 2 of their doubleheader. Texas A&M at number 1 Alabama, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. So all 4 major over-the-air broadcast networks will have a game on in prime time on Saturday night. On the ACC network at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, Florida State at number 14 NC State, Mike Monaco and Tim Hasselbeck. And streaming on ESPN Plus at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific is Coastal Carolina at Louisiana Monroe. No broadcast team named. All right. The later games, now to the later games at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on the Pac-12 network. Number 12 Oregon at Arizona, Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth. On FS1 at 9:45 Eastern, 6:45 Pacific is Fresno State at Boise State, Alex Faust and Petros Papadakis. At 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on CBS Sports Network is Hawaii at San Diego State, Rich Waltz and Aaron Taylor. And the final game of the night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on ESPN is Oregon State at Stanford, Mark Jones, Robert Griffin III, and Quint Kucinich. And that is a look at the Week 6 college football schedule and the broadcast teams for every game. We'll be back up on here tomorrow as I will make my picks for Week 5 in the NFL, both straight up and against the spread. Plus, I'll give you the maps for all the Sunday afternoon games and some programming notes for some of the NFL games coming up this weekend, including tomorrow night's game with the Colts and Broncos. I'll have info on that. I'll have some info on that. Plus, I'll tell you, if you live in New York, Green Bay, and Milwaukee, I'll tell you where to tune in to the Giants-Packers game. And I'll also tell you where to tune in locally for the Raiders and Chiefs if you live in the Kansas City and Las Vegas markets. So join me for my picks, both straight up against the spread, plus the Sunday afternoon maps for all the games, and the broadcast teams for each game. I will have that up tomorrow. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell twice and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and happy listening. Well, that's my radio sign off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the picks in. I know my sign off. Here we go. Peace out.